Okay, people, listen up. We all know that gang warfare has escalated rapidly in the past few months. We've been hit pretty hard by it. A lot of the weapons being used by the gangs are restricted military issue. We need to find out where this state-of-the-art firepower is coming from and neutralize the source. Recent information points to Krakow employees being involved in this weapons smuggling. The evidence is slight, however, and there is no clear motive for the corporation as a whole. I have expressed our concerns to their president, Natalie Argenta, who was naturally denied any involvement. Argenta is coming over on the next shuttle, which arrives in 4 days. I can't give an official directive here, but off the record, keep a close eye on Krakow activities. I think they're hiding something. As you're probably aware, Internal Affairs are now investigating us, so no foul-ups, no heroics, and definitely no friendly fire incidents. Understood? Keep your eyes open out there, do your job, and get back in one piece. We can't afford to keep losing pilots or gunships at this rate. Mission briefings are at 0500 hours tomorrow. Good luck, people. Dismissed.
Morale was shot to hell. They were all talking about Tachikawa's death. Tachikawa used to fly his Havoc like he'd been born in it, they said, and no one could believe he was gone. The rescue squads had picked up the wreckage, but his body had just vanished. Reese, the flight software technician, was checking it out. As I listened, it slowly became clear that Daniels and Ricardo had been Elaine's closest friends. Her death had hit them hard. They gave me the story. Seemed her comms link had gone down during a routine patrol. She'd just lost it and piled into an antenna mast. Made no attempt to avoid it. I felt uneasy. This all sounded too close to the way Tachikawa had bought it for it to be just coincidence. I needed time to think. So I made my excuses and left. It had been a bad day, but at least we had saved Krakow's president. If she'd been greased, all hell could have broken loose.
The automated weapons we recovered after the attack on Argenta are a new development, possibly off-world in origin. We have nothing conclusive, but Krakow's past expertise in this field certainly implicates them. However, the attacks on the Krakow president, Argenta, leads me to believe that this may not be the whole picture. Argenta has alluded to Nanosoft involvement in the attacks, but as yet has refused to say any more. Tech Lab's findings are inconclusive. They say the prototype software controlling the weapons used in the attack on her is years ahead of anything on the market. It could be the work of a number of corporations, including Nanosoft. As a result of these attacks, Krakow have requested GP cover for their president and their industrial sites, and also want us to lean on Nanosoft. We'll go along with the first request, but Nanosoft have given us no reason to investigate them further. Stay alert out there. It's up to us to contain this situation. Any further escalation could turn Callisto into a war zone. Mission briefings are at 0430 hours tomorrow. Dismissed.
Things just got weirder. Late that night, I got a call from Reese to meet her down the lab. Intrigued, I went along. Reese was buzzing like a short circuit when I got there. She'd combed through the remains of Argenta's attacker and wanted to show me what she'd found. It was badly burnt, but I knew what it was. I had one implanted myself. It was a cortex chip, used to record sensory data on its way to the brain, and it proved the pilot must have been ex-military. This was big news, and I turned around to say so, but the barrel of a Peacemaker 2 suggested that Reese had a problem to discuss. She'd secretly run checks on Tachikawa's avionics, and eventually tracked down an advanced cryptovirus. I told her what had really happened on the mission, and why I'd had to lie. Reese wasn't convinced, so I poured out everything. Elaine, my suspicions, the lot. Finally, she put the gun down. The virus in the cortex chip meant only one thing: a traitor. Could it be Horton? We had to tread carefully. Reese and I agreed to keep quiet about this information while she worked on a virus killer. It looked like I'd got my first ally.
The situation looks grave, people. That full-scale airborne attack on President Argenta has pushed Krakow over the brink. They have effectively declared war on Nanosoft. Nanosoft claim they're victims of overt corporate rivalry and request G-Police protection. They've warned us that, in addition to their new weapons, Krakow also have access to military equipment which was supposedly decommissioned after the war. It seems that Krakow and a few other corporations secretly stockpiled these weapons after the collapse. And it looks like a lot of them made it here to Callisto. We need to be ready for anything out there. In view of their cooperation, we must comply with Nanosoft's request. I want Krakow's private little war shut down before it rips Callisto apart. The rules of engagement have changed. Any Krakow vehicle may now be fired upon as soon as it is identified. We have also decided to authorize the use of military-grade weapons. Mission briefings are at 0400 hours tomorrow. Good luck. Dismissed.
Now, Nanosoft had joined the fun. They'd been lying to us all the time, and it looked like Horton had bought it all. He couldn't be that dumb. All my suspicions about the virus and the cortex chips came flooding back as I stormed into his office and accused him of selling us out. Horton was a cool one, all right. Didn't even blink an eyelid. Turned out he'd always suspected Nanosoft but couldn't gain enough evidence. Being aware of the traitor, Horton had hidden his suspicions to keep Nanosoft off his back, while he methodically took Krakow to pieces. Hell, you had to admire the guy. He'd even tried to cover our backs on that last mission. A recon patrol under Ricardo had been secretly dispatched to warn against any Nanosoft first strike. It was just bad luck that the patrol got jumped. Ricardo had suffered a downed comlink just before his wingman got flamed. By the time he got back with the news that Nanosoft were attacking, it was too late. The traitor was still loose, but at least the data dump from Krakow's HQ promised to be interesting. With Krakow out of the way, we could now put the heat on Nanosoft. Horton planned to fill us all in at the next briefing. I went to check on Ricardo to see if he was okay.